Welcome to the Red Dice Diaries, and this is a video response to Sam at Chalice and Chains video about how to prepare for an online game. You can see Sam's original video by clicking on the link there. Now, this is just going to be a quick video response. I've not done loads of prep for this. In fact, there's my notes there, a tiny piece of paper. And I'm just going to talk for a little bit about how I go about preparing games. And I was watching Sam's video this morning, and I think it struck a chord with me because I've just been getting ready to run a trilogy of Star Wars games. So I've been going through these steps, and they were very much foremost in my mind. So this isn't going to go into extensive detail about how to set up a Google Hangout or anything like that. There are numerous videos and documents, some of which I've been involved in, that describe these that you can find by a quick search on the internet. This is just the general outline I go through when I'm setting up an online game. So first of all, I set up a Facebook event a couple of weeks in advance of when I'm going to run the game. Once that's done, I then put a call out for player interest in whatever Facebook or Google Plus group seems most applicable for the game that I'm running. In the case of the Star Wars game I'm running, I put out the call on the Tides of Change Facebook group, which I'll put a link down to below. Once I've done that, I can link to the actual event in that original post. And what I do then is when a player commits to playing, I will get in touch with them via a personal message on Facebook just to confirm that they're not just clicking on attendance because they're planning on watching the video stream, that they do actually want to play. Once they've come back and confirmed that, I then reply to them confirming, yes, you have got a place in the game. And I will go back to my original interest post, and underneath in the comments section, I will put something like, Robert Jones is now confirmed as a player. We have 3 spaces remaining. This not only reaffirms to the person who's expressed interest in being a player that yes, they are in the game, as it were, but it also lets people who might be interested but are holding back for some reason know how many spaces you have left remaining. So after I've done that and I've got the requisite number of players that I want, I normally go for about 4 in a standard session, although I have stretched to 5 or 6 previously, or even more on rare occasions. What I will then do is I then set up a Google Doc with the player and game information on it, and I link to that on my event page. And I normally pin that post so that it stays at the top of the feed inside the event page. And that's just so whenever one of the players or someone else who's interested needs a bit of a reminder of what's going on, they can go to the first post in the event page, click on that link, and it'll pop up for them, and it's all there. I also post regular updates. Since you've got a couple of weeks until the game occurs, you want to try and keep people's interest going, because we'll have other stuff clamouring and crowding in for our attention. So I post regular updates on the Facebook event page, and when I do, I tag in all of the players who are committed to playing the game. And this is just because the general sort of mix of Facebook communications and on other social media, it's very easy to lose sight of something that you might have actually wanted to read. So tagging people in just helps flag it up for their attention. Now, when the players send me their character sheets, I upload them onto my Google Drive, or you could use Dropbox or any other sort of cloud-based file sharing storage technique. And I then put links to them in the Google Doc that's in the event page. And the reason I do this is simple. If something happens where the player can't access their normal computer, or heaven forbid, something happened to my computer and I had to go onto another machine, because the stuff that's in the Google Doc is in cloud storage, it means that it would still be available. And if I had to run the session on a different machine, or one of the players had to use a different machine, and then they hadn't got the original copy of their character sheet, they could just go to the Facebook event, click on the Google Doc, and there would be a link there to their character sheet. You can also use it to put links to like character graphics, overlays, and stuff like that, all of which I do. I also find another way of keeping people's interests up is I like to make the odd little video or two which fills in a bit more sort of backstory about the session. And this has the twin benefits that not only does it keep player interest in the game going and remind them that something's going on, but also it actually saves you a bit of time at the start of the session. Because if you're running like a one-shot or something, you've maybe got 4 or 5 hours if you're lucky to get that session in, and that's when you don't include the normal sort of chit-chat, getting to know you, etc. You want to have as much time as possible spent in the actual game space rather than sort of an NPC monologuing at the players to explain the mission. Now, if you can do a quick video to get most of that information to your players before the game starts, then why wouldn't you do so? You're saving yourself a bit of effort at the start of the session, having to go, oh, this NPC is telling you this mission, he's telling you this, he's telling you that. You can just check, has everyone seen the video? If everyone says yes, you can then just give a very quick recap, and boom, you can jump straight into the game. There you go. You can squeeze the maximum amount of game time you possibly can out of the real world time that you have available. And as I say, it also helps enforce the game's presence in your player's mind. One other thing I do is on the day before the session, I try and PM all of the players, and that's pretty easy. If you've already created an event page, there'll be a little option on Facebook which allows you to group message all the people in that event. So send a message out to them all just to check that everyone's okay for the game. And on the actual day of the event itself, I normally send a message out a few hours before I set up the actual hangout to run the game in, just again to check that everyone's okay for it. And in that way you keep yourself informed as much as possible, and if you do have to make any last minute changes of plan, at least you're as prepared as you're going to be. So that's the process I went through when I was preparing for my recent Star Wars game. And as I said, I like to prepare a few videos and that just to keep players' interest in the game whilst they're waiting for the actual session. There's a couple of videos there that I prepared for my recent one. One is a sort of standard like Star Wars intro crawl, and the other is the NPC mission giver, a Commander Sheb Gurgren, a Mon Calamari, giving the mission briefing. And this was something that was fairly easy to knock together, didn't take that long, and potentially it's going to help boost player interest and also save me a lot of effort in the long run. So I hope if you've enjoyed this video, you consider clicking on the red dice just there to subscribe to my channel. As always, you can get in touch with me at all the various social media, which you can see links to there. Please put your comments down below if you have any. I do enjoy reading what you write. And until I see you next time, take care and happy gaming.